We will now proceed with the open forum with the Director of the National Maritime Center and the Commander of Marine Environmental Protection Command, Vice Admiral Roy Echeverria, Philippine Coast Guard.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, ma'am.
So at this point, we will have our open forum or question and answer with Vice Admiral Echeverria regarding the discussion. If we recall earlier, sir emphasized the importance of interagency collaboration to ensure maritime safety, security, and of course, optimal maritime law enforcement, and the importance of the information that is shared within and among the units. At this point, before we begin, may we remind the participants that we'll only ask a few questions, but anyone from our participants may ask clarificatory questions or other things. This is a forum, so we have to be also open to learn from each other or perhaps share a few thoughts. But while you're thinking of that, if you're also afraid to ask your questions, there are pieces of paper on your tables and you can write your table if you're kind of afraid to ask also, and give it to Franco over there if ever you have questions so that we can read it for you. But if you choose to relay your question, you can use a call so that we can give you a mic, and then you can introduce yourself, your unit, and your question. So first, sir, thank you for the very meaningful talk that you've had. There are a lot of things that we were able to pick up, particularly in the importance of having different agencies work together. Sir, in one of our conversations with the Presidential Advisor on Maritime Concerns, he mentioned that when we talk about interagency coordination, there is a lot of challenges because the different agencies have different mandates. Is this also the same with your experience? And maybe you can cite some incidents when this challenge of the different attached agencies have different mandates, and what are these challenges, and perhaps maybe share how you were able to resolve this, being the director of the National Maritime Center.
Yeah, indeed, there are challenges in especially managing different affairs of different agencies that has, of course, different mandates. But what we do in the center is we try to create that common operational picture, because the some information may be differently appreciated by another agency, but on another agency it's different. So these different interpretations can be fused, or as like the center being the fusion of information among agencies involved in the center, becomes now creates now a common operational picture. We guide these agencies in the appreciation of such information that we receive, especially coming from some informations coming from international partners. So, for example, the appreciation of BFAR may be different from the appreciation of Coast Guard because they have different mandates. Yeah. So the center comes in by making it simple. Sometimes we just pass the information to the relevant agency so that there's no more so much question about, especially in the enforcement of laws, the operation.
Thank you, sir. Earlier, you mentioned the role of the National Maritime Center in capacity building. And I remember a few months ago, probably 2 months ago, we thanked the NMC because we were granted an opportunity to train 7 of your attached agencies on geographical information systems and map reading. And as you mentioned, it's really a challenge because when we did that, they were using different data sets related to their particular mandates. I recall BFAR did a geographical map of boat distribution in Corazon. The PDEA did a drug crime rate across Philippines. So I'm raising this because we're talking about data sets. The question here is that in this day and age, I think even the commandant mentioned, information and data is very critical at this point. And the different agencies recognizing operate on different mandates, but data remains the same. Is there any particular plan of the NMC to, let's say, produce or liaison database that can be used by the agencies for their particular mandates and be able to use that also, sir? Parang it's more of like a question of how you facilitate the data sharing also within and among the units, sir. Does the Maritime Center have that in place, or is there any plan for that to be in the future, sir?
Right now, still on the we're still planning to have that the data center, but each agency has their own a data center. We actually just work on based on the what the actual agency has, utilize their own capabilities. But what the center can do in terms of data handling is that we just share it to agencies that we think is the most relevant to act on such information. But as to the handling or the storing of data, we leave it to the different agencies.
Thank you, sir. Sir, earlier you also raised or talked about because your talk centered really on the interagency coordination. Personally, I'm also very curious about how you as a center liaison or did the coordination particular to, maybe let's specify one of the recent events, the oil spills. Because we know that you were also one of the officers that was in charge of that. Maybe you can share a bit on how you were able to rally the different agencies, the Coast Guard, the Navy, and the other offices particular to that, so that we can have a picture, just in case anyone here would like to also be in the NMC and see what kind of work the NMC does to coordinate the agency, sir.
We identify which agency is supposed to be involved in such operation, and we simplify, of course. We just don't get everyone involved. So we pass this information to those relevant agencies, and during the oil spill incident, what we did is we just, of course, focus on the those that are really going to be involved in the operation, especially the Philippine Coast Guard. And I think that's just about it. You just focus or just get in touch with the relevant agency that should be involved in that operation. But in terms of sharing information, everyone shares the information to the center. Then we do the management of this information, passing it to our principals, and requesting relevant agencies to act on the information gathered.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I'm noticing that you also are wearing two hats. One is for the National Maritime Center and one is for MEPCOM. Do you see that having two roles as an advantage, that you are carrying a Coast Guard MEPCOM commander role? Again, a disclaimer, this is a forum. This is not going to be publicly shared. Based on your experience, sir, it's not to discourage or encourage anyone, but looking at also one of the opportunities for our Coast Guard personnel to look at how responsibility also happens in the top, that to understand fully, if you carry on two roles, do you think what do you think would be the advantages of carrying the MEPCOM head role, the head of the MEPCOM, and having the NMC center? Or is it more of a challenge, like a conflict or something? Or is it more of beneficial because you're in one of the agencies attached, sir?
It's actually very challenging, especially in terms of responsibilities and some, activities that I get to be involved with, doing MEPCOM things and doing NMC things. Sometimes my schedule gets really just jumbled. But in terms of responsibility, I think it's more, of course, an advantage because you can get to use the assets and capabilities of other agencies where you think you would need. For example, during the oil spill, I was MEPCOM commander. Then I can easily get in touch with NDRMC, BFAR in terms of support. So what we actually do is we reduce response time and we do away with red tape. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, because when you mentioned that, I now remember because when we were handing over equipment, sir, your deputy, si Sir Destour, he mentioned that why there is no equipment for MEPCOM. So then the NMC also bridged the Coast Guard need also to make us realize. So I think it's very important. See, at this point, although I have a few more questions, let's open the floor if for anyone who has clarificatory questions or questions. Maybe somebody wants to apply to National Maritime Center. This is your opportunity to ask, sir, and promote yourself as well. To Sir Echeverria, anyone from our participants, perhaps ask a question. Or sir, do not be afraid. Ayun, nahiya sila, sir.
Maybe they learned so much from my talk.
Oh, yes, sir. So, wala na, very clear. Siguro, maybe couple of more questions siguro, sir. Siguro, sir, kasi I saw that, of course, the NMC is kind of young. Medyo bata siya as an organization. And it being a young organization, and yun nga, there are new members coming in, like PhilSat and other things that are also new versus other institutions that are established, like the Coast Guard, the Navy, the AFP Command Center. They're kind of established. So is there, from your experience, is there a particular challenge in actually convening or marrying either the culture, or because some are new agencies, some are more established ones? So is there anything that you notice in terms of making it difficult for you na yung ibang agency as mas bata yung ini-establish pa, and versus the more established agencies in terms of the management and coordination within and among the agencies under the NMC, sir?
It's indeed very, very challenging because these are different entities, different bureaucracies, right? Some are civilian, some are uniform. So you can see the difference, especially in dealing with the personnel of each. But I think that's what makes, interagency work because of the different unique capability and quality of every member agency, be it young or do you mean young, newly member, newly established? Yeah, there's actually no challenge in that aspect because we just take it as it is. Whatever is your agency's mandate, whatever is your agency's role, we just use it as to enhance whatever the center may be able to accomplish or be able to do in terms of operations.
Siguro for kind of a last question, because unless there are also questions from the ground, sir, as the NMC, I mean, you've handled it for a few years already, but you've been in NMC for quite not naman that long, but
almost 5 years.
Kaya nga, sir, kasi baka sabi ko, but for several years, sir. But is there like something you envision that you still are working towards? What NMC will be? Kumbaga parang sa kung di ba we are all often asked, how do you see yourself in 5 or 10 years? What about you, sir? How do you see the NMC's role in 5 or 10 years now?
I can see the NMC within the next 5 to 10 years to be, it can be really a reliable tool. Look at the potential. It's a whole of government approach. interagency collaboration. It's a fusion center of information, and it has direct link with international partners. So I can see the growth of NMC in the future to be very interesting, and of course, the potential is just so big. If only it can get the much needed mandate that it be given by our principals.
Sir, curious lang, what particular mandate are you envisioning for NMC to also have, sir?
The mandate on maybe creating a task force or a task group that the NMC can really work on, not only on information sharing but including the operational side.
So it's a task group within NMC, sir, or is it like mandated by the Constitution or an
The
executive
NMC can
order?
actually create a task group, but it should be approved by the board or the council.
So it's an internal
Yeah.
technical working group. One would be on the data collection and sharing, perhaps, and then the other would be on the enforcement,
Yeah.
within the NMC. But to be clear, I'm just trying to clarify, sir, but it's internally arranged between the members of the council, sir. Is that correct, sir?
Yeah, we have actually already submitted that proposal, and I think it was taken well by the chairman, and is being studied now by the OPAMC, which they believe is also very helpful if we get that done.
Yes, sir. Because I think we had conversations with Sir Santino about that one, and he really envisions data-driven decision making and policy making based on information from the different agencies. And I think it's very important at this point that we realize the role of NMC as we go along that, sir. Any questions before I ask my last
I may
question?
just add,
Yes,
it took
yes,
us
sir,
a
sir,
while
please,
to
sir.
really gel among the different agencies. Maybe because of sometimes you have to deal with professional jealousy, trust issues, but we were able to overcome that, and we're working well now, like a well-oiled machine, and the MC is really doing very well right now. And it's just that I think General Santino also recognizes that need to get the NMC, the teeth to really enforce laws and the different agencies' mandates.
Yes, I think just to share, sir, because we had several conversations with the OPAMC, and in line with that, that's very true, because I think he mentioned about how do we align assets of the agencies and the data so that they can have an inventory, and also the assets so that you can actually tap, if I'm correct with my recollection, on what can be used by the other agencies can be jointly. And just to promote, because one of our components is on UAV doctrine, is because I will just do a shameless plug, because we have the drones. We talked about the first two drones which were on land mapping use, and when we had the GIS training, it was asked by the other agencies. They did not know that it can be tapped for monitoring. And currently, sir, and again, shameless plug, in the coming month, the 3 new drones will be turned over to the Philippine Coast Guard. Of course, we do not disclose publicly, but within the Coast Guard, we disclose the features of this, which we had in our previous training, which was headed by my other colleague, Ms. Val Salanga, that the new 3 drones will actually be capable of night flying, has night vision, thermal scanning, target locking in, to follow that one. And it is capable of flying under normal rain circumstances, not typhoon, normal rain. And also, it is capable of doing live video streaming while it is flying. So no need to get the drone, before, unlike the current assets of the Coast Guard. So that will be coming in within the year also as an asset of the Coast Guard, which you as a member of that can also, we hope that can also be used or tapped by the agencies, because in the doctrine, who are some of those who were part of the TWG, I think the ones I recall is the one I can see from here, Ma'am Deshado, and the other agencies who are from the technical working group also included provisions from interagency requests for you. So just to share, sir, because I'm plugging, because it's also a part of the project, and it will be happening very soon within November, sir, yung turnover, and hope you'll also be there, sir. Any other questions?
It's very impressive.
Yes.
I just wish we can also have that in our NMC.
Sir, you should have
And,
told the ambassador when he was here.
Just as-
because our project, by the way, is funded by the federal government of Germany with the liaison of the enhancement initiative that is coursed through the German embassy. So as you see, the 70 years there is actually the logo of the German embassy for this year, symbolizing the 70 years of partnership between the Philippines and the German government, sir. So there.
No big deal, ma'am. Just
Just
a shameless wish.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because we were trying to partner. Let's see, sir. Maybe there's something that will happen within the next year, sir. Like we did for the GIS. But again, those are things kasi that we also want to support within the project and within GIS. Any questions before I ask my last question? Yes, sir. Sir, please state your name, your unit, and then the question, sir.
Yes, sir. Rear Admiral Jean Basilio, Coast Guard Internal Affairs. Of course, sir, I do understand that the National Maritime Center was established to address these advocacy problems that we have. No, yung mga ating agencies, we have their own silos. We have this bureaucratic jealousy, sinasabi mo kanina, professional jealousy, and it is apt that the National Maritime Center was created so that these government agencies would be obliged to cooperate and collaborate with other agencies. In my own perspective, sir, when we say cooperate, we would mean delivering our own mandate para makatulong sa mandato ng ibang agencies in what we call nation building. But when we say collaborate, it would mean more than cooperate. It would mean not just doing our mandate, but also helping other agencies deliver their own mandate, helping other agencies strengthen their mandates. Naging commander ka naman ng Maritime Security Command, sir. You encountered problems like yung K9 natin doing this what I call this, yung mga dog sniffing issues, and then ang naging problema, wala tayong EOD sa ibang ibang areas. Naghahanap tayo ng EOD sa mga army, sa mga air force or whatever, wala sila. That's why the K9 created its own EOD team. So yun yung naging problema natin. But anyway, last 2 weeks ago, when we talk about collaboration and cooperation, 2 weeks ago I attended a symposium hosted by the National Security on blue diplomacy. I mean blue economy. Blue economy. Kasi nga they mentioned that the transparency initiative of the government has already met its objective. Now we are now shifting to blue economy. And when sa Coast Guard side, when we talk about blue economy, we also talk about blue diplomacy. We also talk about blue diplomacy or maritime diplomacy. It's just unfortunate na wala pa yung first speaker supposedly, no? Yeah, but then ang tanong ko ngayon, sir, are there plans for the National Maritime Center to come up with a system that would support this blue economy of the country? Kasi nga, nasa atin na yung blue diplomacy na tinatawag.
Thank you for that question, June. But earlier you said uh, about interagency collaboration, kung anong kulang natin, yun tinutupunan na. That is actually collaboration at work. As to yung about your question about centers maybe role or plans to support the blue economy, we actually have that meeting with Congressman Benitez, and I think the proponent for that in the Senate is Senator Loren Legarda. We actually changed some of the mandates of the center based on that blue economy, the blueprint of our blue economy bureaucracy that yung nag-champion sa Congress is si Senator Benitez. We had several meetings and we patterned our mandates based on that. Kaya nabago yung EO natin to same number, EO 57 pa rin, but it was already signed by it's a new EO that was signed by President Marcos last March. So medyo aligned na siya doon sa blue economy actually. So we conducted several meetings with the two proponents.
Thank you, sir. Sir, just to share, kung matuloy po yung PCG Forum 3 sa November, that's also one of the topics that we have, role of Coast Guard in the blue economy, sir. And we'll deck that also as an important role. Pero thank you, sir. Sir, siguro follow up sa kanya before I
Ano
ask
lang,
him.
additional. In fact, the initial proposal was to take out the NMC and just retain yung secretariat. That was changed to OPAMC. Yeah. Kaya medyo may mga pagbabago. But eventually, after some defense, they were able to get, of course, the potential of the center to be able to really, help in the development of our economic activities, maritime economic activities.
Sir, question, kasi remember he mentioned about the blue economy and Coast Guard's mandate has so many things in its plate, di ba? Nakasama na nga dyan yung pagtatraffic sa EDSA eh. So, ibang klaseng dagat na yung inaano. But with that one, trying to understand din, sir, kasi the role of Coast Guard in yung assisting the, kumbaga yung in the mandate, it's really to assist the other agencies of government. But were there ever, at least, but you can answer whether it's in the MEPCOM hat or NMC role, that you also mentioned about certain, hindi man friction, but a little bit the challenge, no? But was there ever a role that the NMC also did to intervene, parang yung mga issues within and among the agencies particular to maritime law enforcement? Yung parang a little bit of conflict, whether in the implementation of policy and all of those things, sir?
No, we really did not encounter that because, well, these agencies are all established, as you have said, and they know their roles, they know their mandates, they talk among themselves. We just identify which agency is relevant to that issue or that concern, and pass the information to them and leave it to them to do professionally their respective jobs.
Thank you, sir. Sir, as a last question, it's not really a question, but is there any particular message or thing you want to impart to our participants here? Maybe a challenge for them in terms of their role and the Coast Guard, and also as a part also as an attached agency of NMC. Any particular challenge or message or something that we want the individuals also and as the agency to remember, sir?
Yeah. I'm really impressed by how much the Coast Guard have grown, and not only impressed but also happy being part of the Coast Guard bureaucracy. And I just wish our personnel keep it up, be more professional, especially in performing our jobs. We we really are really doing very well, and hope they just focus on jobs. They have the mandate, and that is the Bible of our actions. And as to the NMC, I'm very, very glad that the Coast Guard is just so happy to perform whatever the NMC is asking them to do. And no questions asked. Just if we pass the information to the Coast Guard, immediately we get feedback. So very, very professional. We're happy for that. So yeah, I hope the Coast Guard will keep it up.
Thank you, sir, and I mean it with pride also, because we've been working with them for several months already. So I think that we'll just thank you very much, sir, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to Vice Admiral Roy Abitria Echeverria, Philippine Coast Guard, and Miss Maria Regina Corazon Sibal from GIZ, and our participant for the engaging and informative discussion. So before a coffee break, so we would like to present a certificate of appreciation to our speaker, and we deeply value the knowledge they have imparted. So the citation reads, Certificate of Appreciation is hereby awarded to Vice Admiral Roy Abitria Echeverria, Philippine Coast Guard, Director, National Maritime Center, Commander, National Marine Environmental Protection Command, for being a speaker for the topic, the role of interagency collaboration for maritime law enforcement in the Philippine Coast Guard Second Forum on National Maritime Law Enforcement and Digital Evidence, PCG at 123rd, matatag, handa, at maasahan tungo sa mapayapa at mapanatag na bagong Pilipinas. 23rd Philippine Coast Guard Founding Anniversary, Sheraton Manila Bay Hotel, Manila, Philippines, 16 October 2024.